Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Engineer Salman Ahmad Khan, and today we are talking about the procurement management. While actually visiting different universities for the guest lectures, many students has asked me that how they can actually start their career in the procurement, especially the engineers. So actually, I have made this video for those aspiring engineers who wanted to start their career in the procurement. As I have been working in the different large manufacturing industries of Pakistan, I came to know, and from my experience, every industry has its own procurement. Every industry has its own supply chain procedures because every industry has a different operations. Every industry has its own business requirement. So when they have the different operations or business requirement, it's mean there are different raw materials procurement. So when I talk about the industries, procurement in the key industries is almost same. And it is about right quality, right quantity, right pricing at the right time, at the right place. Now, steel industry, automotive industry, tire industry, pharma industry, textile, FMCG, and the hospital. You can see in this presentation, in this slide, that every industry has its own raw material. So it's mean that procurement is different. Industry to industry wise, it actually varies based upon the raw materials, based upon the operational requirement. So considering these factors, we are talking today about the procurement management for the engineers. Now, what is basically the difference between the procurement and the purchase? Many people, many professionals, especially students who are actually studying or those who are working in the industry or have just started their career, they actually got confused between the definition of the procurement and the purchase. Now, procurement is basically a strategic function, while purchasing is a tactical function. I tell you, based upon the definitions, that procurement actually focus on the end-to-end process that include identifying the needs of the company. It includes the supplier evaluation, contracting, and the relationship management with the suppliers. It actually also focus on the total cost of the ownerships, cost savings, supplier performance evaluations, contract compliances, along with you need the analytical skills, you must have the negotiation skills, you have that market intelligence, you have that relationship management with the stakeholders in order to maintain or to build the long-term relationships with the suppliers as well as your stakeholders management. In simple words, procurement is doing the right things to create values for the organization, while purchasing is doing right things to fulfill the needs. Now, talking about the purchasing, it focuses only on the acquisitions of the goods and the services at best possible price in the short term. It actually contributes to the cost controls and efficient transaction handling. Involves pricing, order accuracy, on-time delivery, invoice accuracy, and the cycle times. It actually limited its way to the transaction of placing orders to the only single sources that are easily available. And actually ensures the timely delivery of the goods and the services. So it's mean that procurement is all about doing the things in a best way to create value for the organization. Now, we came to know through our experience and through studies that there is a triple bottom line. There is a triple bottom line concept everywhere in the industry if we focus it on. This actually concept was given by John Electon in his book Sustainable Development, the Next Industrial Revolution, which actually talks about the economic dimension, social dimension, and the environmental dimension. When I talk about the economic dimensions, it means it focuses on the financial performance and the profitability. It considers factors such as the revenue, cost, and the profit. Social dimensions means the impact of the business activities on the people and the society. And the environmental dimension is about the business activities which may impact the natural environment. So it involves resource conservations, pollution preventions, carbon emissions management, waste management, sustainable sourcing, and ecological sustainability. So it means that you also need to balance your procurement in between these triple bottom lines. Now, procurement structure of the organization is very similar. There is a direct procurement, there is indirect procurement. So direct procurement is the act of acquiring the goods or the raw materials which are directly linked with the production. And if direct procurement stops, production actually stops. So companies are at very high risk in the direct procurement. Many companies focus too much on the direct procurement because it actually involves the raw materials from which you are going to make the product. If I go back to my previous slides, I actually demonstrated this one, that steel has its raw material of the iron ores, ferroalloys, refractories. Automotive has the raw material of the steel, aluminums, electronics, the MRO supplies. Tire has the natural rubber, synthetic rubbers. Similarly, pharma has the packaging materials, the active pharmaceutical ingredients, APIs. Textile has yarn and the fabrics. FMCGs have the raw materials and the ingredients and the medicines and the supplies you need in the hospitals. So it's mean these all materials comes in the direct procurement. So while if I talked about indirect procurement, it means that it is the act of purchasing service or the supplies required to keep the day-to-day business alive. It actually includes the plant equipment, machinery, the spares, administration related requisitions, and etc. So, as I talked about the procurement procedure, which is similar in every organization, only it's differ based upon the operational needs of the organization or based on the business needs of the organization. So the process, if I talked about the local procurement, is you got the purchase acquisition, you got to float the RFQs, you got 3 or 4 quotations based upon your supplier master data or vendor master data, and then you actually place the order based upon the right quality, with the right price, with the right quantity, with the right lead time. Then you actually follow with the vendor. You actually deliver that product to your stores through the vendor coordination. And then you actually coordinate with the end user for the quality inspections, either it is accepted or rejected. And then you process for its payments. Now, end user coordination is very much important while you are working on the PRs. And later on, I will explain you in my slides that why the stakeholder management is very much important in procurement. Now, similarly, in the import procurement process, it actually involves the similar process. There is only the difference here is when you are processing the approvals or the order confirmation, you ask for the performer invoice receipt from the supplier. And then you actually process for either the letter of the credit payments or the advance payment through the banking channel. And that documents or those commercial process in the procurement involves the bill of landing, bill of materials, packaging material, packing list, or you can say the LC related documents, etc. Vendor's address and all those things. And that for that, I have created another special session for these commercial terms in procurement. And later on in my next video, I will going to explain this one as well. So for now, when you actually process the LCs, you actually give the orders to the suppliers. And then after that, you actually follow up for that. Your shipment is received, and then you actually process for the good receipts. LC is basically the document which actually given by the bank to the supplier through you, that the payment which you are actually processing through to the supplier is safe, and it will be actually processed accordingly. So later on in the slide, I will explain this one. Now, what is the procurement functions and the operations? It actually involves the need identification, the supplier evaluations, the RFQ sending, its negotiation, sending the purchase orders, and then you actually follow up, and then you actually make the good receipts and invoice verification payments and supplier performance management. Now, the category management is very much important. Since you are working on the number of multiple line items, and those line items could be around 25,000 to 30,000. So it's mean that while working towards the smart procurement, there must be the category, because category management has become more important within the procurement function. It ensures the breakdowns of the procurement goods and the services into the various categories or the group, and has become a strategic approach to deal with the surge in the demand for the goods and the services. Like electrical category, mechanical category, administration category, marketing category, you actually split those all procurement into different divisions in order to have a better controlling. This approach can help the organization streamline their procurement process, negotiate better deals with the supplier, and ultimately save the money. Now, the benefits are it ensures the management of the categories of spends and helps in budget tracking of the each category, provide enhanced supplier relationship management and development, correctly manage the supply in alignment with the objectives. It actually enables focus on the market research and development of the in-depth product information. Now, supply relationship management is the key strategy in the procurement. While an engineer, you must have the market intelligence of the different products, because every day engineering is actually advancing. Every product is advancing, and it actually every company is producing different features day by day. There is a lot of competition. And for that reason, you need to choose the suppliers. You need to build the relationship with the suppliers based on the trust, open communication, and the mutual understanding. You should, based on that, maintain the contract agreement management with them. You actually may develop the suppliers based upon your requirements and their supplier expertise as well. You do the risk assessment with the suppliers, identify and the mitigating the risk associated with the suppliers, such as disruptions in the supply chain, financial instability, or the quality issues. And it actually also involves the continuous improvements. So the benefits of the supplier relationship management is that they actually reduce your cost. You actually do the cost savings. You actually enhance the quality and the reliability. Strong relationship with the suppliers can result in the high quality products or the services. Enhance supplier responsiveness, innovation, and the collaboration. It actually increases the customer satisfaction by ensuring a reliable and high quality supply chain. An organization can enhance customer satisfaction and the loyalty. Now, the stakeholder management, it's really important because it is a very crucial process in the procurement process, as it involves and engage with the various stakeholders who are working with the various individuals and the groups who have a vested interest or influence over the procurement activities. Procurement success is tied to how well you work with the stakeholders and what you can do to help them to succeed in what they want to achieve. And in this way, you can achieve your goals as well. Effective stakeholder management helps to ensure smooth operation of your procurement process, obtain support and buy-in from the key stakeholders. In procurement, stakeholders are broadly divided into the two major categories. You can say the internal stakeholders in procurement involve those who operate within the organization, such as the plant manager, department manager, manufacturing manager, finance team, legal team, the billing team, the warehouse team, etc. And the key external stakeholder could be your suppliers and other partners who are not directly linked to your organization, but they actually contribute towards your business, toward providing the raw materials. Now, stakeholder engagement in this strategy in procurement is very much important. It actually, you have to, identify key stakeholders in the organization while working in the procurement, assess the stakeholder interest and the influence, communication and the transparency, stakeholder involvement in the decision making while doing the technical matters, managing the conflict and the risk, proactively address the conflict through the open dialogue or negotiate to reach the mutually beneficial outcomes. And it's very going to help you in procurement. Now, the strategic procurement, I have heard about lot about this strategic procurement. It's about spending analysis, demand analysis. You analyze the spend data, you identify the high impact categories. You also actually understand the current partner's needs, and actually a demand analysis. You do understand the requirement of the user, review the specification volumes, and identify the opportunities. You do the strategic sourcing of the vendor's approach, identify and evaluate. Also, you identify the suppliers, the key suppliers in the market who are actually working. And then you actually do the negotiation and contracting with the vendors. The key benefit of this is that it actually do the cost optimization, reduce the total cost of the ownership, improve the quality, supply assurance, risk reduction, and the strong partnership. It actually enables to build a strong partnership with the vendors. Now, strategic sourcing is almost everywhere. So this is basically the chart I thought to present you further to elaborate. So the best practice is this is you need to do the cross-functional collaboration. You need to do early supplier involvement. You need to engage with the supplier through the open dialogues and the communication and ensure the compliance. You need to actually focus on your data decision making. You can use the ERP, SAP, Excel, Power BI related in making your dashboards. And then you do the strategic sourcing for the items which are very strategic to your company, having the high spend, high risk, with the leverage items like high spend, low risk, with the bottleneck items, those items from which your production can be suffer, and there's also on the non-critical items. Now, negotiation is also a very critical part, and I'm sure the engineers are very good in this negotiation. Negotiation is, that involve the process of reaching mutually acceptable terms and conditions between the buyers and the suppliers. Remember that negotiation is just not about getting the best price, but also about finding the right balance between the cost, quality, and the services. So you need to make sure that you are doing the effective negotiations. You must have those skills. So the key terminologies according to the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply Chain is that you need to know your objective first. You have to clearly define the procurement objectives. You have to prepare well that what actually you are doing negotiation for. What are the key stakeholder requirements? What are your project is? What are the technical requirements are? Develop the win-win approach. Have the effective communication. There must be some flexibility. And the last thing is documentation. Remember that if your documentation is strong, then you are doing well in the procurement. But if your documentation is not strong, you are very weak in the procurement. Now the engineer contribution in the procurement. Engineers provide the high technical expertise during the evaluation of the potential suppliers. They assess the technical specifications, quality, and the sustainability of the products or the services in order to ensure that they meet the required standards. They actually check the required specification. They design the required specification based on the bills of the materials or the bill of quantity. They actually participate in the supplier qualification by evaluating the potential suppliers. They actually contribute toward developments of the request for the proposals, request for the quotations. They collaborate with the procurement professional to ensure that the RFP accurately reflect the technical aspects and the objectives. Bid evaluation is also being evaluated by the engineers. They actually do the negotiation, and last part is the supplier relationship management. Now, the value engineering is also there. Value analysis and actually the approach, which actually ensures that we achieve the best value by optimizing the functions, quantity, cost through the systematic analysis and the functional collaboration. This value engineering procurement is done through the cost function collaboration, and it actually involves early involvement in the procurement. You do the functional analysis of the plant and the machinery, you do the value analysis, cost analysis, evaluation and the selection of the suppliers, and do the implementation and do the continuous improvement. Now we do the value engineering for the profits. We focused on providing the best alternative solution. Engineers should focus on that. It actually involves the group of peoples for the development of the cost of the effective products, focus on delivering the best per price with the best quality of the product. Value may also increase if the customer wants the greater performance. Remember that. So these are the KPIs of the procurement management, and with the formula, I try to mention the formulas as well for you guys, those who wanted to start their careers in the procurement or those who wanted to learn more in the procurement, especially for the engineers and also for the professionals. That number one KPI is the cost saving, which actually measures the saving achieved through the effective communication, through effective procurement strategies and the negotiations. On-time delivery, you have to make sure the supplier is delivering on time. Purchase price variance in between the negotiations you do. Invoice accuracy is another KPI. Procurement cycle time, there should be measures of the average time taken from PR creation to the PO issuance. Supplier performance evaluation, there should be the scorecards. Contract compliance, spend under the management, purchase return rate, and of course the total cost of the ownership. So these are the benchmarks, and why it matters, because it indicates the contribution of procurement to cost reduction in the bottom lines, and actually also actually promotes long-term value efficiency and the sustainability. So these are the KPIs of the procurement that any procurement professional needs to have this in mind while working in that. So these are also the formula which actually I also mentioned. Now the role of the procurement has been increased, especially the role of the engineers, especially in Pakistan, Middle East, and around the world, has been increased because there are lots of industries are developing or establishing in Pakistan, across Middle East, and different parts of the world. If I talked about Pakistan, we have steel industry, we have textile, automotive, and tire manufacturing industries, there are pharma industries, there are big real estate industries are there. So the role of engineering procurement has become very important because engineers brings the technical knowledge, analytical thinking, problem solving skills to the procurement. Their involvement ensure the right material, services, and the technologies are sourced to support the quality, reliability, safety, and the cost effectiveness across the organization. So overall impact to the organizations actually is about it. Actually, the role of engineers actually enables the organization to improve the quality and the reliability. Also, it actually helps organization lowering the cost and better saving, reduce risk and the failures, higher operational efficiency, stronger supplier relationship management, and of course, sustainable value the growth, which actually reflected by the roles of the engineers in the organization, especially in the side of the procurement. So thank you very much. And if you like it, so please subscribe my channel. I will bring more videos on that. My next video will be on the commercial procurement, in which I'm going to talk about letter of credit. I'm going to talk about packing list, bill of landing, import exports in my next video. Thank you very much. Please subscribe my channel. Looks forward for your support. Thank you.